And this is Monty once again from DPL Surveillance Equipment. We're a full-service surveillance and security equipment company with lifetime guarantees and warranties. And in the background, you hear our cat, Lazy Bones. Lazy Bones is reminding me that he's ready for his coconut oil. Every morning he wants coconut oil. Otherwise, he creates a lot of ruckus. So I have to give it to him as soon as possible. Now, who am I? I'm the owner of DPL Surveillance Equipment, a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. We have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all the products. We have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. The largest inventory of items that not only can you buy, but you can rent it, lay away as well. And humongous video library, articles directory, tons of blogs and podcasts. Just a lot of information overall that's going to help you guys get up to snuff on your readings about health-related topics, longevity, how to live forever, other topics, economics, finance, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, all sorts of different innovative, groundbreaking spy gadget technologies, etc. Just a lot of good information overall. Things about the economy and finance, etc. You're going to find that on the website. Just look under articles, look under the video library, and you'll see tons and tons of good information, all for free. Now, this morning, I decided to make a podcast right away, mainly because I listened to Bloomberg and some of the financial news agencies, and they talk about, what's going on right now in the markets and internationally and in the United States. And one of the things that they mentioned right off was the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, Intercontinental, I think it's called Intercontinental Exchange. They a major provider of futures contracts, and they have decided to partner with, as far as I can tell, Microsoft and Starbucks. And I have to make sure I understand what the relationship is with Microsoft and Starbucks, but it looks like there's going to be, I think, one-day futures contracts is what it says. I'll read some of this to you. One of the world's biggest exchanges is finally diving into Bitcoin, teaming up with Starbucks Corporation and Microsoft Corporation and announcing a futures contract on the cryptocurrency. Intercontinental Exchange Incorporated, which owns some of the biggest futures markets as well as the New York Stock Exchange, said it's creating a new company called Bakkt, Bakkt. That's B as in boy, as in apple, KK like kite, T as in Thomas, that aims to create an open and regulated global ecosystem for digital assets, according to a statement Friday. This is a futures contract in November. I'll copy and paste the specifics on it, but it looks like, as far as I can tell, Bitcoin is continually going forward with the various things that need to be put into place to make it a formidable, viable, not only a store of value, excuse the noise, I got a few things that I got to do in the mornings, not only a fantastic store of value, but also a payment system. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning payment system particularly is because also this morning I'm reading that WooCommerce, for those who don't recognize that name, WooCommerce is a major e-commerce platform. They own probably 30% of the market for e-commerce platforms. When you process credit cards on your website and such, most of the websites on the internet, a great deal of them, a larger percentage than most competitors actually go through WooCommerce, because WooCommerce has plugins for WordPress, and WordPress is by far the most popular platform that everyone uses for their websites. Okay, it's just the dominant platform that everyone uses, and to make everything work for e-commerce, everybody goes with WooCommerce. That way you can accept your credit cards and other payment choices, whether it's Square, whether it's Bitcoin, whatever. And speaking of Bitcoin, before I get too far ahead of myself, I have WooCommerce, and I've been waiting for Coinbase to make this announcement, and I reminded them about 2 months ago that I have WooCommerce, and if they could devise a plug-in for WooCommerce, that would be great, because then that way, my company and other companies, we could use WooCommerce and the plug-in from Coinbase to make this all work. And lo and behold, today, lo and behold, today, CoinDesk, I think CoinDesk is the one that broke the news, stating that there's a plugin for WooCommerce. So I just gave my website developer the information talking about this plugin from Coinbase that's going to allow us to integrate Bitcoin and let those customers use Bitcoin on our website. And as I mentioned to a lot of you guys before in other podcasts, we're trying to get away from credit cards overall. Excuse the noise, because people get out of hand with the chargebacks. Customers who don't really have any money or any inclination to be responsible with their credit cards, they use those credit cards and they charge up a lot of products on your website, and then they return them and charge back with some stupid excuse, and now you have to eat those costs and go through the trouble of unwinding those transactions, and it's just ridiculous. But Bitcoin, just so you merchants will know, Bitcoin doesn't allow for instant chargebacks like that. If you want to give out money back to the customer, you give it back using your own discretion. In other words, you have complete control over how those transactions are handled. Not MasterCard, not Visa, not Citibank or anybody else. You determine what transactions you're going to unwind. If it doesn't make any sense for you to unwind them, then you don't. You don't just have some arbitrary situation where some third-party credit card issuer tells you that they don't like this transaction and they want to unwind it because of some stupid excuse that the customer gave them. So this is good news for us merchants. We can start to bypass this system completely, whereby we're still dependent upon credit card issuers like MasterCard and Visa and American Express, Discover, whoever. And, we can hopefully put those guys right out of business. And this is a major step in that direction. I think what I'll do also, when I create this article and associate this podcast with it, I'm going to let you guys see the stats on WooCommerce and their market share, and how much of that space they control, how many plugins, what percentage of the overall internet, what percentage of merchants are actually using WooCommerce, and the numbers are very, very impressive. And you're going to see that this is a major deal, not only for Bitcoin, but for merchants. And customers really should appreciate the idea that, contrary to popular belief, we can save a lot of money using a payment system like Bitcoin that doesn't actually rob us and rip us off and do more harm than good. So when we don't have to pay large merchant discount fees, settlement fees, batch fees, all various types of service fees, statement, you name it. All of these fees add up. And see, we merchants, we have to raise our costs, raise our prices rather, in order to cover all those extra costs. Whenever you have more and more costs, you got to raise your prices to offset the costs. And if we have less costs associated with Bitcoin and plugins from Coinbase, etc., then we can offer average everyday low prices. It's almost like I think Walmart has a slogan or something talking about everyday low prices. That's what you guys really want. You don't want stupid rewards points that someone tells you is worth this amount, 2%, 3% or something. You want everyday low prices. And we merchants, we want less overhead. We want an efficient payment system, processing system with less overhead, less bureaucracy involved. So the whole system could work a lot better than it does now. So anyway, I just wanted to break this news because the information is very, very new out there in terms of what's going on with the New York Stock Exchange announcing this Bitcoin venture with Starbucks and Microsoft. That futures contract should bring in a lot more people and money, investor money, etc., to Bitcoin, mainly because this is physical. This involves physical delivery of Bitcoin, unlike some of the other futures contracts. I think that where you settle in cash or something, and you don't really have to deal with handling Bitcoin itself. But now this particular Intercontinental Exchange, owned by the New York Stock Exchange, they require physical delivery. Anyway, this is two major separate news announcements just happened this morning, and I think you Bitcoin enthusiasts like me, you really should be happy because this ecosystem is being put together slowly but surely, and we're making major strides, and it's not going anywhere. It seems to be very resilient, and everyone, all the big name players, seem like they'd rather be involved rather than to not be involved. So, far as I can tell, you guys stay true to the Bitcoin mission, and let's see if we can develop our own alternative to the current fiat system that's being devalued every single day and being manipulated and controlled and used against us. So anyway, as I always say at the conclusion of every podcast, keep your eyes and ears open and stay safe out there. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.